Hello, preschool readers. I am so excited you could join me for story time today. Before we read our story, though, let's say our hello chant. Last week, I taught you a brand new hello chant. Let's see if we can remember it together. It starts with a clap of the hands and a pat on our laps. Clap, pat, clap, pat. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as quiet as we can. Can you say hello really, really quietly? Hello. That was quiet. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as loudly as we can. Okay, on the count of 3, we're going to say hello really, really loudly. 1, 2, 3. Hello! How was that? Were you as loud as I was? Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as quickly as we can. Hello! That was really, really quick. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as slowly as we can. Hello. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as high as we can. Hello. That was a really high, squeaky voice. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as low as we can. Hello. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as silly as we can. Can you make a really silly face and say hello? Hello, hello. That was pretty silly, huh? Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as nicely as we can. Hello, preschool readers. Welcome to story time. Today, I was outside taking my dog for a walk, and you know what I noticed? I was hearing birds singing, I was seeing buds on the trees, and plants starting to come up from the ground. I realized, hey, it's spring. Spring makes me think of all the beautiful green that will be popping up soon, but it also makes me think of baby ducks and baby chicks and baby bunnies. So I thought we would read a story today to celebrate spring. The story I want to share with you today is called Muncha Muncha Muncha. Our author is Candace Fleming and our illustrator is Brian Karras. Now, I'm going to need your help while I'm reading Muncha Muncha Muncha. Muncha 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 has a chorus. It has words that repeat over and over again. So that way we can be storytellers together. So this chorus is actually what's called a building chorus, which means we're going to add a little bit to it each time we say it. But let's start out with the beginning chorus. It goes like this. Tippy, 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 pat. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Can you do that with me? Tippy, 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 pat. Muncha, muncha, muncha. I'll let you know when it's time for us to say the chorus together. Let's get started. Muncha, Muncha, Muncha by Candace Fleming. Oh, I see some bunnies. For years, Mr. McGreely dreamed of planting a garden. He dreamed of getting his hands dirty, of growing yummy vegetables, and of gobbling them all up. But he never tried it until this spring, said Mr. McGreely. This spring, by golly, I am going to plant a garden. Do you have a garden? Give me a thumbs up if you do. So he hoed and he sowed and he watched his garden grow. Lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes. Yum, yum, yummy, said Mr. McGreely. I'll soon fill my tummy with crisp, fresh veggies. Ooh, what's your favorite veggie? I think my favorite veggie is cucumbers. But one night when the sun went down and the moon came up, 3 hungry bunnies appeared. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. And here is where the chorus comes in. Are you guys ready? Tippy, 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 pat. Muncha, muncha, muncha. And there they are, munching on Mr. McGreely's lettuce. Well, the next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his gnawed sprouts, he was angry. So he built a small wire fence that went around his vegetable gardens. There, he declared, no bunny can get into my garden now. I'm noticing the little bunnies are peeking over the wall, watching him. Do you think they're going to be able to get into this garden? Let's find out. And when the sun went down and the moon came up, here's where we're going to add a little bit to our verse. The first part, they're going to be tiptoeing and seeing if they can get over that wire fence. So we're going to start with our tippy, 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 pat. Then they have to jump over the fence. So they're going to go spring, hurdle, dash, 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 muncha, muncha, muncha. Look it. They made it into the garden. Well, the next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his nibbled leaves and his gnawed sprouts, he was really, really angry. So he built a tall wooden wall around his small wire fence, around his vegetable garden. Humph, he huffed. Those flop ears will never get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. What do you think? Do you think the bunnies will be able to get over that fence? Let's find out. Well, the sun went down and the moon came up. And here, let's start with our tippy, tippy, pat. Tippy, 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 pat. Now they have to dig under that tall wooden fence. So we're going to dig, scrabble, scratch, scratch, scratch. Ready? Now we have to spring over the wire fence. So we're going to spring, hurdle, dash, 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 and muncha, muncha, muncha. Guess what? They got in. Uh-oh. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chewed stems, his nibbled leaves, and his gnawed sprouts, he was really, really angry. So he made a deep, wet trench outside the wooden wall behind the wire fence all around his vegetable garden. Ha! He snorted. Those pufftails can't get under it. They can't get over it. And no bunny can get into my garden. Those bunnies seem pretty clever. I wonder if they're going to be able to get in. Well, the sun went down and the moon came up, and here we go. Tippy, 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 pat. Now they have to swim across the moat. Ready? Dive, paddle, splash, splash, splash. Now they're going to dig underneath the fence. Dig, scrabble, scratch, scratch, scratch. They have to jump over the wire fence, remember? Spring, hurdle, dash, 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 and muncha, muncha, muncha. Uh-oh. They got in. What will Mr. McGreely do this time? Well, the next morning when Mr. McGreely saw his chomped blossoms, his chewed stems, his nibbled leaves, and his gnawed sprouts, he was furious. So he hammered and blocked and sawed and stalked and drilled and filled and trapped and blocked. And he built a huge, enormous thing. Before, the deep, wet trench, outside, the tall wooden wall, behind, the small wire fence, all around his vegetable garden. "I've outsmarted those twitchy whiskers for sure," he exclaimed. "They can't get through it. They can't go under it. They can't go over it. No bunny, no way, no how is going to get into my vegetable garden." What do you think? Do you think they can get over this? I don't know. Well, the sun went down and the moon came up. Here we go. Ready? Tippy, tippy, tippy. Stop! The 3 hungry bunnies looked and smelled and touched the huge, enormous thing before them. And then they tippy, 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 pat. The bunnies hopped away. They couldn't get into it. Well, the next morning, Mr. McGreely saw his untouched vegetables and he was happy. "I beat those bunnies," he whooped, and he did a jiggy wiggy. Then he climbed over, jumped across, squeezed between, crawled under until he reached his vegetable garden. "Ah," sighed Mr. McGreely, "at last." Smacking his lips, he picked and he pulled up lettuce, carrots, peas, and tomatoes. And with his basket overflowing, he reached inside for something yummy. Wait a second. Did you notice something besides vegetables in that basket? Uh-oh, I think the bunnies got into his garden. Ready? Muncha, muncha, muncha. Mr. McGreely looks pretty surprised, doesn't he? And there he is, sharing his vegetables with the bunnies. Well, I hope if you plant a garden, you don't have lots of bunnies eating all your vegetables. I hope you get to eat them. Thanks for joining me for story time today. Before we go, let's sing our goodbye song. If you're a reader and you know it, clap your hands. If you're a reader and you know it, clap your hands. If you're a reader and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're a reader and you know it, clap your hands. If you're a reader and you know it, read a book. If you're a reader and you know it, read a book. If you're a reader and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're a reader and you know it, read a book. Bye, friends. Thanks for coming to Storytime. I hope to see you next week.